Well, good afternoon and welcome to Thinking Tuesday. This is where we meet on the last Tuesday of each month to just talk about what we've been thinking, where our thoughts have been leading us, how we would like to captivate thoughts and make sure that they're leading us in the right direction. We make so many decisions every day, and we want to make sure that our decisions are really being driven by positive thoughts. So, welcome to Thinking Tuesday. And at the very, very beginning, I'm going to remind you what our motto is. Our motto is Your mind is a garden, and your thoughts are the seeds. And yes, you are the only one who can decide if you want to plant flowers, which are those positive thoughts that move you forward, or if you want to plant weeds, which are those negative thoughts, those toxic thoughts, those thoughts that really don't help you to grow, those thoughts that really keep you in a place of regret, of resentment, and all of those negative things. So I just want to remind you, in case you've forgotten, and for some of you who really might not be aware, how important your thoughts are. Your thoughts, our thoughts, are our lifelines. Because, as one of my favorite thought leaders, Wayne Dyer, said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And it starts with your thoughts. When you begin to think about how you respond to someone, how you receive someone, how you behave, it really begins with your thinking. And I'll remind you again of something that I've said in the past, that we function in a very simplistic way, even though it might appear to be complicated. And the simple way that we function, if we can break things down to its common denominators, to its the most simple form, the way we as human beings function is as we think, so we feel. And as we feel, so we do. And as we do, we have the result. It's as simple as that. As simple as that. Just think a little bit about some results that you have had, which maybe have been positive. Well, they started with a thought, right? And they engendered some good feelings. And based on those good feelings, you took actions, positive actions. And if you flip the coin and you look at the opposite side, it's the same thing. If you've gotten some negative results, some results that you really don't like, results that are keeping you stuck where you are, results that keep you making you feel resentful, angry, whatever those negative results are that you don't like, think back to what is it that you have been thinking? What thoughts have you been harboring? How do they make you feel? And then, based on your feelings, what actions have you been taking? And that all can be reversed. It can all be reversed. So I spend a lot of time talking about our thoughts because that's really what drives us. Our thoughts drive us. So many of you know, and some of you who don't know, I had a very, very successful event on 2 weeks ago, 2 Sundays ago. Actually, it was October 20th. And this was the launch of my platform called Leadership International. It's a platform to support and empower women because women are the most untapped talent in the world. Women have a lot of talent, but oftentimes women are not encouraged. Unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of, I would say, negative responses to women now. We have a woman that's running for president, and as a result, we're seeing a lot of behavior that's surfacing based on how women are seen. And at the same time, we have a lot of women who are supporting women because we know that women are very valuable. We have value and we give value. Unfortunately, sometimes we sacrifice more than we sacrifice to give more than we take care of ourselves. So that event that I had on October 20th was really based on how we lead our lives. And leadership is specifically designed to help women look at how we're leading our lives and how can we change? How can we live our lives better? How can we love herself better, more? How can we take care of ourselves better? And how can we have more compassion? So this was a celebration of self-care, self-love, and self-compassion. And it was based on an interview with the author of the book, The Ultimate Self Love Guide for Black Women. And even though it was written from a Black woman's perspective, because Dr. Quayle Carson, the author of the book, wrote the book based on her own experiences as an endodontist, a very successful endodontist who unfortunately was not listening to her body and the stresses that she was carrying, the burdens that she was carrying, and ultimately uh, got burned out, experience burned out. So now she has taken her experience of discovering self love, self compassion, and self care, and she has now become the anti burnout coach based on her experience. So I invited her to be a special guest on this program because I felt that, and I still do feel that that experience and that the story that she tells is a very, very good example of self leadership. It was a wonderful, inspirational event. All the attendees, and it was a sold out event, all the attendees left with a copy of her autographed book. But based on that, um, I've been thinking about values because leadership is really based on values. And the question that I came up with, and the question that I want to ask you today to reflect on, is when was the last time that you took inventory of your values to see if they're really reflecting your actions? Because we espouse, we say that we live by certain values, but if we really take a very good look, are we really living by our values? Unfortunately, in these times, we are facing our values in a very, very real way. We have to make some decisions about what kind of life we want to live in this country. And we're being faced with really challenging our values. Do we want our values reflected in such a way that we can lead a life that we're proud of, a life that's moving forward? So I ask you to really take inventory of this. Recently, I came face to face in a very real way with one of my values, which is courage. And I think I'm a very courageous person. I encourage my clients to take courageous steps as they learn more about how they're built and how fully equipped they are to achieve whatever they want to achieve. But I came face to face with one of my favorite values, which is courage. And I was on a challenge retreat, and I had to challenge myself in some ways that were really, really scary, really scary. So ultimately, I was able to move through these challenges, like leaping off a 50-foot pole platform, you know, as a metaphor for taking a giant leap into the directions that I want to go, the directions that I want to live, the directions that I want to build my business. And it was scary, but I was confronted with something that I really had to think about. Am I really living my values? I'm not saying that you have to do something as risky as this, but I did it not because, well, I did it knowing that I would be fine if I just allowed my thoughts to carry me in the direction that I needed, to use what I was being taught, to follow the coach's promptings. And so, as a result of that, I was able to move with courage, even though it took a little while. And I felt very, very good at the end because here it is. I'm saying that I'm a courageous person. And when it came to doing something extremely courageous, I wanted to be able to follow through. So I'm asking you, whatever values you have, they can be whatever. There's several values that we have. We have the value of integrity. We have to ask, do our words match our deeds? You know, can are we who we say we are? Many times we ask, well, how come this person is in my circle? You know, um, your values attract the people who have similar values. May they be perfect, positive or negative. You might have a value of courage like me. What courageous things are you doing or have you done? How willing are you to really challenge yourself? What about diversity? We talk about diversity. That's a value where we respect a variety of cultures and lifestyle. When you really look at that value, if that's one of your values, are you really living that value? Are you accepting other people, even though they don't agree with your way of thinking, even though they don't live the way that you live? Can you still respect people with different opinions? What about accountability, if that's a value of yours? Taking responsibility for both your actions and the outcome of your actions. Holding yourself accountable. Many times it's so easy for us to try to hold others accountable, but what about holding yourself accountable? What about that value of accountability? Honesty. Oh, that's one value that's really, really being questioned these days. Honesty. We see blatant lies being uh, it's being denied. We can see that whatever the person is saying, it's a lie. The reality does not support what they're saying. So we have to really look at these types of values: honesty, being truthful, being sincere. So check your values. I left that event on October 20th with an offer of a workshop on values. The workshop is called Empowered Leadership: Knowing Your Truth and Living Your Values. That virtual workshop will take place on November 23rd from 9 a.m. to noon. In that workshop, we're going to intentionally focus on identifying and evaluating values and understanding how they are influencing our decisions, because our decisions, definitely, whether we are aware of them or not, our decisions are really based on our values. And our values many times are so deeply embedded that we don't even have to think twice, we just act. So we're going to intentionally focus during that workshop, that virtual workshop on November 23rd. We're going to focus on identifying and evaluating your values and understanding how they're influencing your decision. We're also going to identify outdated values which no longer serve you, because values change. Our values change depending on life situations. The values that we had when we were single might not be values that we have when we're married. And as we get older, the values that we had as teens are no longer the values that we have. Some values are worth keeping, but some of them are outdated, and we're living by outdated values that are keeping us stuck, keeping us from moving. They're not serving us. And then at the end, the goal of this workshop is to create a personal action plan to integrate a specific value of your choice into your leadership, your personal or your professional leadership. So, those are the three things that we will be doing in this workshop. So, I invite you to join us on Saturday, November 23rd from 9 a.m. to 12 noon for this very important workshop because our values are being tested every single day. And we want to make sure that the values that we are living by are values that are going to be moving us forward, values that are going to be supporting uh, the actions that we take, and that the actions that taking are going to be an indication of the values that we are espousing. Effective leadership begins with self, and it begins with awareness. So, awareness is the first step to change. So, if we want to change the results that we're getting, that we've been getting, then we want to become aware of what's driving our results. We want to be aware of our thoughts. We want to be aware of how they're driving our feelings, how those feelings are driving our actions, and how those actions are leading to results. Make sure that they are the results that you want to. So that's the message that I want to leave you with on this last Tuesday of November. I'm sorry, of October. I'm ahead of myself here. Almost Christmas, right? And I want to leave you with that. Really take some time, take a few minutes, sit with yourself, and try to make a list of the values that you want to live by, that you claim to live by. And then look at your actions and ask if they align with those values. You might be surprised. You might not even be aware that some of them are out of alignment, but then there's always time to course correct, right? So life is about growing and making those adjustments so that we can live the life that we deserve. So I want to remind you again of our motto: your mind is a garden. Watch what you think. Your thoughts are the seeds. Watch what you think. And decide if you want to grow flowers or if you want to grow weeds. I don't think any of you want to grow weeds, even though sometimes weeds can camouflage as beautiful flowers, but we know that they choke out the real flowers. But just be aware of what you're thinking. Check in with your values. Are you really living your values? You can always change. You can always shift. You can always adjust. So go to my website, drcherylburton.com. You'll see the link to register for this workshop on November 23rd from 9 to 12. Share it with your friends, share it with your family members, because we all want to live by values that are going to propel us forward, that's going to help us to live the type of life that we deserve. We want to model appropriate values for our children. And of course, we want to adopt values that are going to help us in our personal growth. So, as I've said every time that I do these Facebook Lives, share this with someone who you feel could benefit from this message. All of my messages are stored on my YouTube channel, Thinking Tuesday, Cheryl Burton. And go to my website, drcherylburton.com, if you need um, complimentary consultation, confidential, of course. Feel free to reach out to me there, and I'll be happy to speak with you about whatever it is that you'd like some assistance with, some guidance with. And sign up for the workshop, drcherylburton.com, under the Leadership International banner that you'll see at the top of my website. I look forward to meeting with you again on the last Tuesday of November. But I look forward to seeing many of you uh, at the workshop, the virtual workshop, on November 23rd from 9 to 12. So take care, think, be captive of your thoughts, be aware of how your thoughts are driving your feelings, and what actions are resulting from your feelings. You have full control. That's the good news. You have full control of the results that you get based on that. How you think, leading to how you feel, and how you feel, leading to actions that you take. So take care, and I'll see you at the workshop and or next month, the last Tuesday in November. Take care. Have a wonderful day on purpose. Bye bye.